Hello, fellow seekers. Welcome back to the Law of One Spiritual Advice Podcast. My name is Elle, and I return today to speak of some Law of One topics and share my opinions with you on them. So today I have quite a few quotes lined up from the raw material, and it's going to be mostly focused around what you would consider each moment. So I have gone through the search and I've sort of looked up each moment, and with that, it sort of highlights the responsibility that we have for each moment and how we can empower our progress for growth through essentially like a single pointed focus, basically pointing our will in the direction of seeking the Creator and seeking service and love. And we're going to talk about how we do that in each moment, and even we will tie it to how that is related to protection, like protection for the self and also, we've spoken about this many times, but it's important, so we're going to go into perfection, basically intention versus the action or results that your intention was looking to accomplish. And, of course, how everything is the Creator and everything is one. So, the first quote that I have lined up for you today is from the raw material, which you can get at my website, theoneinfinitecreator.com, and I have links to all the LL research material who gives us all of this information for free. So, the quote begins with Ra stating, "You are aware of the concept of initiation and realize that it demands the centering of the being upon the seeking of the Creator. We have hoped to balance this understanding by enunciating the law of one. That is, that all things are one Creator. Thus, seeking the Creator is done not just in meditation and the work of an adept, but in the experiential nexus of each moment." Ra, the Law of One, session 57.24. So you note here, I want to highlight the very end part. Thus, seeking the Creator is done not just in meditation and the work of an adept, but in the experiential nexus of each moment. So basically, I'm to understand that each moment, well, let's start from the scratch. Everything is the Creator. Everything is the Creator, which means that everything you experience is some version of the Creator. I have read elsewhere, they've stated that it is impossible not to serve because everything's the Creator. So whether you are choosing to serve yourself or to serve something else or some other version of the Creator, it's all just Creator serving Creator. So there's sort of that beginning part. But now I would like to link it into how if we point our focus towards seeking the Creator and seeking love and understanding in each moment, we can empower our progress. Like we can empower our growth towards, I suppose, going from distortion to non-distortion. So let's go into session 10.12. Where they speak about empowering our progress, basically speeding up growth by single-pointed focus of will on seeking/knowing the truth. So, Ra states in 10.12, "The Law of One has one of its primal distortions, the free will distortion. Thus, each entity is free to accept, reject, or ignore the mind-body-spirit complexes about it and ignore the creation itself. There are many among your social memory complex distortion who at this time-space engage daily, as you would put it, in the working upon the Law of One in one of its primal distortions, that is, the ways of love. However, if this same entity, being biased from the depths of its mind-body-spirit complex towards love-light, were then to accept responsibility for each moment of the time-space accumulation of present moments available to it, such an entity can empower its progress." End of quote, session 10.12. So, they have a very convoluted way of saying something kind of simple, but basically they're just stating here, if you use your free will and you point it in the direction of service, in the direction of knowing the Creator, in the direction of seeking love and understanding, because those are all sort of euphemisms of the same thing, and you engage in it daily in seeking the ways of love, then you can see that there is love in every moment, and there is, I guess, a lesson in every moment. And so every moment isn't just like some nihilistic, oh, well, this is just existing for the sake of existing. Everything that you do, see, touch with, interact with, think about is all, part of your incarnational lesson. You have things run through your perception and run through your brain. And when that happens, you interpret them in a certain way. And what I would suggest is that, like you have an incarnational lesson set up for your life where you have set your third density self who's sitting there right now to learn certain lessons. And you sort of don't have a choice but to learn the lessons that you're here to learn, and that will happen based upon how you interpret the experience that's happening to you. So even if the outer experience varies in terms of like what is happening, you will always sort of interpret with the experience in a way which helps you learn the lesson that you are here to learn, which usually has to do with love and understanding and wisdom and balancing compassion and wisdom and using the heart. And obviously there are infinite moments available to us. So even right now, in this moment, right now when you're here sitting here listening to this, does this moment contain love? Well, it certainly does. I hope to somewhat be an example of the manifestation of that love through my voice and through my sharing of these types of understandings. So then, we go a couple of questions ahead into session 10.14, how they explain how the moment does contain love. And obviously that's pretty important. So the third density, which we inhabit right now, is the third density of choice to serve the self or to serve others as the self. And that is all basically the same thing as saying, well, which way do you seek to seek love? There, you can seek love of self, or you can seek love of self plus other selves as one with you. Sort of just like, it doesn't really matter which way you pick. Service to self is service to others in the sense of unity and the sixth density. And so, there is no difference between it and others, that it's just two different ways of seeking love. So basically the moment contains love. And obviously I'm going to be speaking to you in regards to assuming you're like a service to others oriented person. So with that, the moment contains love. Session 10.14, Ra states, this is the most nearly centered and usable within your illusion complex. The moment contains love. That is the lesson goal of this illusion or density. The exercise is to consciously seek that love in awareness and understanding distortions. The first attempt is the cornerstone. Upon this choosing rests the remainder of the life experience of an entity. The second seeking of love within the moment begins the addition. The third seeking empowers the second, the fourth powering or doubling the third. As with the previous type of empowerment, there will be some loss of power due to flaws within the seeking in the distortion of insincerity. However, the conscious statement of the self to self of the desire to seek love is so central an act of will that, as before, the loss of power due to this friction is inconsequential. End of quote. So they're basically stating here, the moment contains love, and I guess they're trying to also sort of point out the idea of polarization. Like, polarization is basically choosing service to others in a daily manner, in a constant manner, right? Like, if you're choosing service to others and then you're flip-flopping and choosing service to self and flip-flopping back and forth, you're going to fall into the sinkhole of indifference. But if you, are seeking love in every moment and seeking, which I would suggest is sort of like seeking service to others in every moment, which includes yourself, right? It's not always like, oh, I have to serve others. Like, you can still serve the self with the intention of taking care of yourself so you may better serve others or be a better example of how to serve others. Is common misconception. But my point with this one here is to state that the power of doing it in a consistent manner, like basically when you consistently choose the same thing, you are polarizing in the positive sense. And, with that, you increase your willpower. Like, do you think they use the word willpower? Like, I use the word will, and then I also use the word power. And isn't it a coincidence that willpower are words that, like, two words that are put together in the English language? There's no coincidence with that. Your power comes from your will. And so as your will is pointed in the direction of seeking the Creator, as I kind of brought up before, the single pointed focus, right? You're not distracted by all the distortions of all this illusion of separation. You understand that the illusion of separation is an illusion and that every single thing you see is the Creator. And therefore you have this single-pointed focus of, I suppose, you're not being a victim to the outer circumstance anymore. All of a sudden now, you see everything as some lesson of love, or the moment, every challenge will offer you some sort of lesson towards growth or whatever, towards seeing the Creator in a less distorted fashion. So you point that will in the area of seeking the Creator. Basically, I guess another way of, people don't like the word seeking the Creator, like seeking the truth, seeking understanding. As you seek, you will find. And, as you seek on a consistent daily basis in each moment, you empower your progress, you empower growth, and you increase your willpower and your single-pointed focus. All of that stuff is all tied together. And then I really love this next quote that I'm about to tell you. So, let's go into the opposite. What happens if, you don't empower progress? Right? What if you are just not aware of seeking the love in each moment? Well, the lessons that you're here to learn will still be taught to you, unfortunately or fortunately, maybe depending how you look at this. The self can teach the self things in a myriad of ways. So when I say the self, I would suggest the higher self, sort of like your indigo body, like your higher self version of you, like the pre-incarnated version of you. Your soul has a certain sort of lessons set out for you to learn. So if you maybe are coming into incarnation and you're sort of not empowering your progress, you're not learning your lessons, it is stated here that the higher self may go through some trouble to offering you, the self, the lesson in in the form of maybe pain, so that you really start to actually look at the lesson, which Ross states, the self applies the board to the forehead, which has gone through some trouble to do such a thing. So in session 83.27, Ross states, you may see in some cases an entity which, either by pre-incarnative choice or by constant reprogramming while in incarnation, has developed an inseriant program of catalyst. Such an entity is quite desirous of using the catalyst and has determined to its own satisfaction that what you may call the large board needs to be applied to the forehead in order to obtain the attention of the self. In these cases, it may indeed seem a great waste of the catalyst of pain and a distortion towards feeling the tragedy of so much pain may be experienced by the other self. However, it is well to hope that the other self is grasping that which it has gone to some trouble to offer itself, that is, the catalyst which it desires to use for the purpose of evolution. End of quote. So basically, the higher self will go through quite a bit of trouble to offer the self the lessons that it has incarnated to learn. And I mean, I guess this isn't like a threat, but I suppose you could see it this way, just stating that, basically, you empower your own progress for growth, or you don't. Maybe the timing will be different for you in terms of your soul's evolution. Like you may, evolve a little faster or slower depending on how you empower your progress. But fear not, for yourself or for others, those who you deem maybe are not seeking, it's okay, right? They can use their free will to seek as they please, but they will still, whether by sort of corrective forces or not, will eventually come to some sort of understanding, hopefully, right? Like the self has gone through a lot of trouble to offer the self this lesson, so it's good to, even when you see people in great pain and tragedy, to somewhat have gratitude that, hopefully they will see the lessons that they're attempting to learn or to teach themselves on an unconscious level. Now, I promised something about protection, so I guess this quote just sort of came up in the feed because it also mentions each moment, which obviously is important. That's sort of what this podcast is about. Each moment, right? The now. So in session 32.1, regarding protection and gratitude and having an open heart, these are all similar things of what I was stating about seeking the Creator, seeking the truth. They state 32.1, we see protection being very simple. Give thanksgiving for each moment. See the self and the other self as Creator. Open the heart. Always know the light and praise it. This is all the protection necessary. End of quote. right? So not only does seeking in each moment empower your progress, like it's also, I suppose, putting you in harmony, in resonance with what is. And it's, I would suggest that that is protection, right? Like when you're in harmony with the Creator, is that not some sort of protection? So yeah, they say we see protection being very simple. Give thanksgiving for each moment, which is another way of saying, be grateful for each moment. Love and understanding in each moment, right? Like you're not having a nihilistic, like, oh, each moment, yeah, how dare you, right? It's sort of like, yes, thank you, thank you, thank you. Gratitude for this moment, right? Like, give us our daily bread, thy will be done. Help me to see the light and the love in each moment, even especially when, I'm not able to see and the illusion of separation is convincing and strong. Help me open my heart to other selves. Help me to love others like help me to love myself like I love others. Help me to love others like I love myself. Help me to love. This is sort of the attitudes which are the attitudes, I guess, of an open heart. And, always know the light and praise it. This is all the protection necessary, they state. And lastly, I would like to go into here which I do a lot, I know, but it's just so important because I think if you are listening to this, you have intentions to do good and you have intentions to serve others, and you can be hard on yourself because I know, like, you think maybe, I need to be out there serving 24/7 to be a good entity, blah, 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 blah. To what degree that's true, I don't think it really matters when you account for your intentions. So I would like to talk about being a perfectionist and seeking perfection, right? You want to seek perfect love in each moment, perfect understanding. Do you want harmony of every single moment? Are you going to force it that way? Right? There's always like controlling versus acceptance. And my understanding is when we're seeking the service to others path, we're going to be working more with acceptance instead of control. So we then have to account for our intentions being important in what we're attempting to do versus maybe the action or result of our intentions, which don't always seem to, play out the way that you foresaw them, which is okay, right? It's just like you can obviously understand that maybe when you've done an action, you've made a small mistake, and then you can try to correct that next time, but you shouldn't be so hard on yourself as to not take account for your intentions being important. Like, I did this in the name of love, in the name of service to others. So they state in session 96.4, Ross states, may we note that just as each entity strives in each moment to become more nearly one with the Creator but falls short, just so is physical spotlessness striven for but not achieved. Now, they're talking about physical spotlessness like cleaning a house. Okay, continuing on. In each case, the purity of intention and thoroughness of manifestation are appreciated. The variance between the attempt and the goal is never noted and may be considered unimportant. End of quote. Right, so they're stating here, just as each entity strives in each moment to come more nearly one with the Creator but falls short, just so is the physical spotlessness striven for but not achieved, right? So as you seek to clean an area, clean your living room, right? You see this ideal, perfect living room, and you go to accomplish it, and you're probably not going to achieve the perfect result. But you had the intention to clean the room, which is a good intention, and that intention was, I guess, pure. And to what degree that intention is pure, that's what matters, right? The purity of your intention is what matters. The purity of your intention even actually is related to your willpower. If your purity of intention is to seek the Creator honestly, right, which they stated before, like that's not always going to happen because of you're still going to have sort of insincerity within your being, which, like it's easy to state like, yes, I seek the Creator, I seek love in every moment, but really, come on, be honest with yourself. How much do you really do that? Right? I can be honest with myself. Can you be honest with yourself? So, right, there's the ideal, and then there's the intention. And so, we will seek the ideal. We know the ideal, a spotless house, perfect love, perfect understanding. We know how to seek that, but we don't hold ourselves accountable for achieving it, right? The manifestation of the intention is less important than the intention itself. And that's no excuse to go around manifesting manifesting sort of mismatched things, right? Like you have a good intention, but it keeps having a negative result. Well, maybe you do really need to reflect on what your intentions are and better ways of achieving those intentions. But regardless, so that's my I'm saying is you still need to be accountable for yourself, but don't be so hard on yourself that you just don't consider your intentions important. Your intentions are extremely important and really the only thing that's measured. It's not necessarily the quantity of what you've done, it's the quality of your love and the quality of the purity of your intentions. So, my friends, I think that is enough for today. So, thanks for listening. And if you appreciate my service, give me a like, share, leave me a comment, let me know what you think. Maybe give me some ideas for future topics. If you have any curiosity about, some sort of really anything, I'm down to try to find some quotes and ramble like this for some time. Yes, if you find value in what I do, you can please join my Patreon or shoot me a one-time PayPal. I've had a few Patreon subscribers drop off in the last couple months, and I've had one or two join in the last couple weeks. So I don't know, just letting you guys know, like it's not like it's like constant increase, so people leave, people come. I really appreciate really both of all of you, right? The people that come and you have to leave for financial situations. Inflation is really tough out here right now. I understand completely. So, I do have gratitude for anybody who has a little bit of abundance that they're able to share with me to assist me in keeping this podcast in a long-term basis. Thank you so much. And, for believing in me, I guess, and believing in the dream and love and sharing all this information freely with everybody. So, what else? The oneinfinitecreator.com is my website. And yeah, I just hope you guys have a wonderful rest of the week. And I will, it seems like this summertime is making me very busy and having a lot of extra things to do. So it sort of seems like we're going to be doing maybe one podcast a week at this point. I hope you all are okay with that. So yeah, thank you everyone for listening. Have a great week. Take care.